I think I'm gonna have a little bit more of this one. Oh my gosh, now I'm getting butterscotch. I just picked up a huge butterscotch note in here. That's insane. Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano. Today, this is my first Friday flight fight. And for the first Friday in October, we are going to do the Larceny barrel proofs. I just picked up the C923 just the other day. We tasted it a little bit over at my sister, Mary Bridget, and John's house. So I thought, what the heck? I've got them all for this year. And I'm also going to throw in the C922 from last year. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Bottle number one. This is the last release of last year, the C922, coming in at 63.3% ABV, 126.6 proof, and I paid $78.99 in Phoenix, Arizona, and this is going to be in glass number one, and I have them labeled on the bottom so I can keep it straight after I mix them up. Bottle number two. First release of this year, A123, coming in at 62.9% ABV, 125.8%. I believe this one is the, sorry, I thought it was going to be the highest proof, but it's not. This is the second to lowest proof. They're all $78.99, and that's going to be in glass number two. Moving on to bottle number three. The second release of 2023, this is B523. This is coming in at 62.2% ABV, which is 124.4 proof. And that will be in glass number three. And I'm pretty sure the majority of these are all going to smell and taste the same. So bottle number four, the last release of 2023. C923, this is coming in at 63.2% ABV, which is 126.4 proof. And I do believe this is the second to highest proof. I think the C922 is the highest proof. And then of this year's release, this is the highest proof. So that's going to be in glass number four. Now that I've got them all in here, let me go ahead and mix them up. Now, last year, I did all of the Elijah Craig barrel proofs, and then this year I concentrated on trying to get all of the Larcenys. I am pretty much stocked up with the Elijah Craigs and the Larcenys, so I don't think I will be purchasing any more of these anytime soon, although I have heard really good things about the Elijah Craig C923. I have yet to see it in my area, and I am still up in the air on whether I'm going to get it or not. Chances are I will. If I ever do see it, I'll probably pick it up just for references and just because everybody's saying so many good things about it. Just like they were saying good things about the Larceny A123. And then I tried the B523 and liked it even more. And then as I tried the C923 over at Mary Bridget and John's house, I thought that one kind of fell square in the middle between the A123 and the B523. So we'll see how this kind of all plays out. The C922, the last release of last year, I thought was just okay, and it's the one that kind of catapulted me into thinking I want to try the Larceny barrel proofs this year instead of the Elijah Craigs. Good decision, bad decision, I don't know. But let's go ahead and get the lids off of these, give them a nose and a taste, and then we'll get them ranked. And as soon as I took the lids off these, the very first thing that I got hit with, even without actually putting them up to my nose, is a pretty good cinnamon spice note. You're gonna know what I'm tasting because I have it all posted down below. So let's get into the nose of the first glass. All right, that is cinnamon spice, a little bit of a dark fruit note, not like a sherried note, not like figs, dates, raisins, and plums, but maybe more towards a red cherry, dark cherry, red apple. It's a little bit of cinnamon spice again coming through on the nose. Pretty good amounts of ethanol. I think this smells typical. It smells good, but it smells typical. Go with glass number two. Glass number two is not as vibrant. That initial note is not as vibrant as glass one. I get more ethanol than anything else. And I've got a little sinus thing going on. One of my nostrils is clear and the other one seems to be a little bit clogged up. All the same notes are still there, just muted. Cinnamon spice, red apple, dark cherry. Does have a sweet note to it, just muted. Oh, on that last note, a little bit of leather and tobacco. I don't think I got that in this one. It's funny how as you're bringing it up to your nose or as you're just taking it away, there's sometimes you get like a little twinge or a little bit of a different note. Let's go with glass number 3. So far, glass number 1 has the nose all over these first two, or these other two. This one is as subdued as this one. Yeah, this one definitely jumps out of the glass. But as I suspected, they all have pretty much the same note. Cinnamon spice, almost like the big red gum that came in the sticks in that red package. Almost like a cinnamon stick, cinnamon red hot. Yeah, so far glass number 1 has it over the other two. Let's get glass number 4 down. Man, as I'm progressing through, they seem to get weaker and weaker. But going back to glass 1, it's not weak. Yeah, I'm gonna say that they all have the same cinnamon spice, dark red fruit, cherry, and apple note. They all seem pretty similar with ABV, and I'm not picking up on that typical wheated buttered roll that I usually get in wheated bourbons. This is more vibrant than that, and this is more vibrant than all of them. All right, enough nosing. Let's go ahead and get on to the taste and see if there's anything noticeably different with the 4 of them. All right, that one's coming in a little bit hot, but that's very good. I like that one so far. All the stuff that I got on the nose is definitely transferring through on the palate. Let me get the sip on here. Woo. That is drinking way hotter than that. Holy cow. I'm gonna grab some water. Give me a second. All right, I don't know if I wasn't ready for that sip or if it actually truly is drinking hot. Let me get that second sip. Yeah, that's much hotter than the first one. Much hotter. And look at these, 63, 62, 62, 63. Just goes to show you that even though they're very, very similar in proof, they can drink hotter than others. Yeah, that's drinking way too hot for my liking. So I like this one, then this one. Let's go ahead and get on to glass number 3. All right, that is definitely big red gum. That's a whole lot of cinnamon and a good amount of spice. It doesn't drink as hot as the second one, but they all are very similar, just at a different level of cinnamon red hot. The gum, the stick of gum, big red. That's what I get with this one. I get a red hot, a cinnamon red hot with this. And based on what I got here, this seems to be a little bit more well balanced, even across the board with the proof and the cinnamon spice. I like this one, then this, then that. Let's get that 4th glass in. See what I think of this one. All right, I get ethanol, some spice. There seems to be a little bit of a muted dark cherry and red apple, like cinnamon red apple spice in here. It's not bad. Let me get a rinse. I'm gonna speed this part up. I'm gonna go back the other direction and then get these things in order. This is gonna be extremely difficult. Right now, I would say that this is at the top of my list and these could fall anywhere else. So let's just speed this up. Hopefully I get some idea of an order and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. This changed completely around. After going back the other direction, after nosing them and tasting them in that order, and then I went back and forth between these two, this ended up having a pretty astringent, bitter aftertaste. This one still drank extremely hot, but these two ended up leapfrogging this one. So my final order that I ended up coming up with, and I wrote it down here, this is going to be in first, this is second, this is third, and this is fourth. I like the cinnamon notes that are coming out of these two, even though this one is pretty well balanced, after tasting these two back this other direction, everything was pretty much muted in this one. I do like the nose on this one quite a bit, but the amount of cinnamon, that big red or big five is big red bubblegum note, and the cinnamon sticks, the dark cherry notes, and the dark apple, the red apple cinnamon notes, I like very much in these two. This one is just drinking way too hot. I think the flavors are being masked by the ABV or how hot it actually is, because they're all very similar in ABV, but this just seems to be hotter. I do like this one. It just doesn't have as much flavor than these two. So let's go ahead and see what I have in fourth place. Well, let me try to guess which ones are which. Not that it matters. I'm thinking in my brain, based on what I've had in the past, I think A123 drank hotter than all of the others. So I'm thinking that this is A123. I'm just gonna write that down. A123. I did like the last release of last year's, so I'm guessing that this is going to be the C922. And I think I liked the B523 the most. I'm guessing that that's what this one is going to be. So B523. And I also did like the newest release, the C923. So I'm thinking this is going to be the C923. So in fourth place, in my notes, I have A123, glass number 2, and it is A123. There is no mistake on how hot this one drinks. Even though it's good, it just drinks way too hot. So that's my fourth, and I was correct on the A123. My third place was this, and I guess this was C922, and this is C923. So this is the third place, the current release of the Larceny, and then that means this is going to be third place, and I thought that was the C923, and it is a C922, which means I like the B523 the most. So let me know in the comments down below if you have had the Larceny barrel proofs from the C all the way through this year's batch. Let me know what you think. What order would you put them in? And before I go, let me do a quick blend here, and then we'll call this video good. I already forgot. I have such a bad memory. So the B523, so the second release of the Larceny, is the one that I ended up liking the most. And I gotta tell you, it is pretty good based on what I tasted today. And it's funny how, not like funny, haha, but it's interesting how the flavors of the individual whiskeys change based on the order in which you drink them. So let's get this blend on the nose and find out what we're dealing with. Go figure, it smells exactly like all of them. It's the cinnamon, red apple, red cherry spice. Get a pretty good amount of ethanol. And as far as wheated bourbons go, I'm not getting that typical wheated roll, buttered roll in any of these. And it could just be how my nose was working today. My palate was fine as I was tasting prior to this. The Buffalo Trace and the Wild Turkey 101, they both tasted very, very good. So I don't think my palate and my nose is off. And now that I'm saying that, maybe a little bit of that wheat note is coming through on this, but all those other notes are still there. The cinnamon stick, dark cherry, cinnamon apple. Smells good. Let's get it on the palate. No, no, that is, that drink's pretty hot. I do get an ethanol sting. It's really, really spice forward. I've lost the dark red fruit, the dark cinnamon apple note. It just tastes like ethanol and spice. So there you go. That's where I'm going to leave it. The B523 was my winner for the First Friday Flight Fight in October. Like, subscribe, share, do all those things that YouTubers ask you to do. And until the next time, I hope you're enjoying your journey, because it's times like this that I realize that it is quite a journey. So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye. I think I'm going to have a little bit more of this one. Oh my gosh. Now I'm getting butterscotch. I just picked up a huge butterscotch note in here. That's insane. This is even better now. Oh my gosh. Again, it's a journey. Take your time with it. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah, that is so much better. And again, I wonder if it's influenced from what I just tasted and smelled in the blend. Crazy stuff. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.